I found a lump in early December while taking a shower. I wish I could say I was doing a self-exam, but I wasn't. The only reason I noticed it is because it was huge. I didn't want to do anything about it, but a coworker who's also a good friend convinced me that I had better go to see my doctor. Mike had been able to get time off work to take me to the appointment. He was also pretty stressed out, but we kept trying to convince ourselves that it wasn't going to be cancer. So tell me about your diagnosis.
Oh, that's a long one. So I was diagnosed with stage 2B breast cancer in January of 2011. The tech had kind of this like weird frightened look on their face, and they just turned around and kind of walked out of the room. And Mike had come with me that day because we had kind of a bad feeling, and he didn't want me to go alone.
I'm not sure what I would have done if he hadn't been there with me. My doctor's response to the lump was a little worrisome.
They found a tumor just from feeling around in my armpit, which they then went ahead and biopsied.
We used up a lot of tissues at the hospital. On the way home, it was time to start telling people. We were in shock, deep emotional shock. I got the phone call from my doctor today with the biopsy results. I have grade 2 infiltrating ductal carcinoma with high grade in situ. Essentially, I have naughty cancer cells that are attacking their neighbors, but not the worst of the lot. The sad news also is that there is a chance that I have had cancer for 5 to 10 years without knowing it, based on the size and growth rate of the tumor. I try to be strong, but I'm not sure how you're supposed to handle news like this. It seems that the best thing to do is start planning. We had a big birthday party with close friends planning for this evening, so the preparations should hopefully keep us busy. Next steps, buy me a fabulous outfit and a shiny disco ball for the party.
I was 30 years old the day I was diagnosed. The next day I turned 31. So I still say I was 30 when I was diagnosed, but because I was so young and my grandma on my dad's side had breast cancer twice, first time in her 30s, I decided that I would just go ahead and have a bilateral mastectomy. So got back to work, got my final reconstruction, and tried to go back to life as much as I could. One thing they don't really tell people about is after they have breast cancer treatment is there's actually a period of depression when you're split off from your doctors and you're not seeing them every couple of weeks, and when you're not actively involved with medical people double checking and making sure you're okay, you get a little depressed because you start to worry, am I doing everything I need to be doing? Is my cancer going to come back? What do I need to be doing? What could I do better? So they decided to go ahead and get more aggressive and start me on chemo, which means I had to go with the fact that I was going to have to lose my hair. So my hair continues to fall out as I'm in the second cycle of my Taxotere, but it looks like it's slowing down a little bit, but I don't even have that much to lose. I mean, I'm starting to have bald spots, but I'm trying to sort of wear hats over it and have a little bit of bang poking out so I can pretend like I have hair, but I'm leaving tufts of Mandy hair everywhere I go. Stupid chemo.
The hair coming out didn't quite happen as slowly as I thought it would. This morning I had to empty the drain 3 times to finish showering. It had started Thursday, but by Saturday, huge chunks of hair came out all at once. I've been wearing hats to try to keep the hair dispersion down. but wow, it really was coming out. Major life events such as being stuck as the caretaker for your sicko wife can tend to put quite a strain on a marriage, on top of being forced to quit smoking while you watch your wife go through rounds of tests and getting bad news on top of more bad news.
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare, but it's those MRI scans that are the scary ones. So usually we don't sleep those nights, waiting for the news to come back. But she's still the same woman I love, and that will never change. Still think she's as beautiful as the day I met her, and I've made her kind of carry around a video camera to record herself, so I have lots of memories, all my pictures and stuff of my wife to kind of remind me about all the good times.
My husband makes me feel just as beautiful to him as the day I found out I had cancer. I can't tell you how much that means to me. When I get home, I take off the hat and sit around in a tank top with a bald head because it makes me the most comfortable when I'm exhausted. And Mike makes me feel just as loved and just as lovely. My Komen Race for the Cure t-shirt came in the mail today. I pulled it out and looked at it and sat down and cried. It says survivor on it. I don't feel like a survivor. Talk to me in a year or two, maybe I will feel like I survived. Right now, I'm just fighting to make it through each day. As much as I'm tempted to sugarcoat my entire breast cancer experience and convince everyone that everything is hunky-dory and that I feel fantastic, I don't. This week has been hard. They told me that the chemo would have a compound effect and get worse as time went on. But who wants to listen to doctors anyway? What do they know? Apparently, a lot. I am exhausted. I was told a side effect of chemo is fatigue. Fatigue sounds like being tired. We all get tired. It's not. It is a deep exhaustion that penetrates every fiber of your being. I have never experienced anything like this before chemo, and I hope I never have to experience it again when it's over.
It's more experimental. It's experimental with the U. Depends on where you go and who you talk to. But some places they put a port right in your brain, which I reach up and rub it all the time, subconsciously. But it's a kind of a little bubble that comes out right here. And it has a little tube that drops in between the hemispheres of my brain. And so I get chemo that's approved for going into your brain, and I get that twice a week right now. And so my entire life feels like it's consumed with going to hospitals and getting chemo.
I feel like my vain attempt at normalcy has left me a bit surprised that life may not be what I had hoped it would be. I want normal. I crave normal. But life after cancer treatment is not normal. I think it may be that it is an unusual kind of lonely in the normal world. You feel alien, not quite like other people. It could be because you spend a long time ignoring the fact that people notice you in public without eyebrows, hair, and wearing a hat. My social skills don't seem normal. I'm a bit more skittish. I care more if people like me. I worry that I'm doing something wrong, and I'm more self-conscious than I have ever been. I've lost a certain level of my confidence. I find myself talking about having had breast cancer to strangers. I don't know why. I look normal enough these days that no one would know any better. I lack some of the patience I used to have. I'm quick to anger, although the fact that they have been messing with my hormones regularly with treatment does not help my level of emotional control. I still can find myself struggling to concentrate on occasion. I was speaking with my friend Michelle about the fact that I haven't been able to read an actual book since I was diagnosed. My brain won't let me focus on it. I know that completing cancer treatment requires emotional recovery along with a physical recovery. but I'm just not patient and want my world to be what it used to be. Hopefully, I will grow accustomed to the new normal soon.
Doctors are human beings. Medical is called medical practice for a reason. They don't always have the answer. Sometimes it's shooting in the dark, especially with cancer. Everybody's a unique case.
It finally happened. The trip to Europe that Mike and I have been putting off for almost 10 years. We have been saying since we initially met that we would go to Europe together, and it never quite worked out. Work, money, life always got in the way. I am absolutely blown away by how many friends, family, and people I haven't met were willing to help us in small and big ways to make this dream a reality. All of you anonymous people that I was not able to personally thank you. Rome was amazing. There were little bits of history wherever you walked. In Sicily, we decided to skip the official tour and randomly rented a scooter. In Athens, we climbed the Acropolis and had a huge, delicious Greek. It was the trip of a lifetime. Sometimes I feel like I am in the deep end of a pool, looking up at the colorful bodies swimming around above me and wondering if or when I should go up for air. This past week, I feel like the water is getting deeper and deeper, and I'm sinking further down, gasping for air and not knowing if I can get back to the top as I sink into the darker water. I am tired of pain. I hurt everywhere. I don't understand why I hurt. I am tired of feeling like a pill popper when I take pain meds, but I don't like being in pain. It is a weird and embarrassing reality.
I have a pain specialist because I've read several studies that having somebody responsible for pain outside of your immediate medical team can extend your life by at minimum 3 months, which sounds interesting and off, but it makes sense to me being in that environment because, again, it's somebody who's focusing on my quality of life and am I doing the things that I want to do, and what do we need to change in order to make sure that I can have the lifestyle I want while I'm going through treatment, because nobody's expecting me to come out of this on the other side, I guess. Happy rainbow.
I'm waiting to hear when I'm going to go in for a biopsy, and my radiation consultation is on Thursday. They want to shrink the tumors that are causing me pain. My oncologist will get the rest of the plan together once they know what the tumor cells look like at this stage. The report is titled Indication Breast Cancer Restaging. So here it is, folks. I am stage 4. Mike and I had to kind of close ourselves off to the world last night for a bit in an attempt to process the news. I am mostly confused on how I had cancer progress so much in the last 9 months. I'm scared because it progressed that fast. All of the time I thought I had is ticking away. Of course I'm going to do everything I can to stay here with my handsome husband, my awesome friends, and my amazing family as long as possible.
Once you hit stage 4, there's what they can treat stage 4, but there's no cure for stage 4. And there are a lot of women that they treat that live a long time on stage 4, and there are a lot of women who they treat and that die fast on stage 4, and you never know which one you're gonna be. And so we've spent the last couple years watching my cancer spread throughout my body, into my brain, and my cerebrospinal fluid, and now it's throughout my lung, and this, the lining in my lung, and the lymph nodes throughout my heart. So I pretty much have it. Oh, and my liver, I pretty much have it anywhere that's kind of a standard for breast cancer and more.
I win. I have bingo. I have cancer in my brain, lungs, liver, and bones. No one is handing out prizes, and all of those studies that they complain they can't get enough people to enroll all turn a cold shoulder to me now. I am breast cancer trash, dying too soon to be worth a test, which leaves me with only one option: chemo. The kind that makes your hair fall out on your pillow, the kind that makes getting out of bed hard in the morning, the kind that makes you lose the ability to feel your toes, the kind that erases your memories and makes you think slow, the kind that requires you to take energy meds, the kind that makes it so everyone in the world knows that you do, in fact, have cancer. People will ask me, when will I be done? The answer is never. Treatment never ends when you have stage 4 breast cancer. The question posed is, do I want to see the cancer shrink? Do I want to have a good quality of life? Or am I ready to throw in the cancer towel, hang up my hat, and join the land of hospice? Today, I want the cancer to shrink. I want it to go away.
I did a pretty big update on my blog after my official metastatic diagnosis, where I built the Mandy list. Because I wanted to sort of challenge myself to look at some of the simple things in life and find enjoyment out of them, or force me to try, complicated to not less complex things. Something as simple as sleeping in a hammock under a tree, or traveling to Europe for 3 weeks. But these experiences, because when you pass away, you don't die with your things. What you have is your experiences, and what the people around you have is their experiences and memories that they made with you. And so I really wanted to build out on having experiences, making memories, and doing things with my life. Of course, it's been a little bit harder now that I'm going into chemo twice a week and the weather sucks. But I'm hoping that I can look through the list and kind of make my miniature winter version, because usually I'll chop off chunks of the list and work off smaller bits at a time. And it's been fun. I've done a lot of really simple things, such as learn how to make mozzarella cheese at home that I had never done before, but it was enjoyable and it was great to have a friend over and do together, and a lot of other little items like that are great. So it's not necessarily about spending a lot of money. We did have a big item, which was going to Europe, which we did last year. And I exercised my butt off after all of my chemo treatments so that I was healthy to go. And so we went and did that big one. And we have an RV, which I named Fifi, which it's been on my list to get it to 30,000 miles, which is going to be tough. Because I think we've only got her to 6,000 miles in the last 3 years, 3 years. So we're going to have to go on a big, long road trip next year. Or that's the hope. So.
We have been laying back and living island style for a week now. We've been knocking out #the Mandy list items left and right. I'm calling our villa our cottage on the beach, even though there's a little jungle between us and the beach. It works for me. We took a ferry from St. Thomas to St. John, knocking out my ferry ride, snorkeling, you name it. We've been killing it. I even took a week off of social media. That was easier than I expected, but there were some things I missed. I have a great life. I just crave more. More time, more life, more experiences.
It's really important to have a strong support system. I can't imagine doing this alone. There was a day that, due to circumstances beyond everyone's control, and I'm also not really driving right now, I had to take an Uber up to Huntsville by myself. It was the most lonely experience ever. It broke my heart. And I'm just like, how many patients go to the cancer hospital by themselves and sit by themselves and get treatment, or, horrible news, or great news, or anything, but they don't have someone there to talk to about it. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Your support system is so important. And sometimes, when you live together, one of you wants to talk about it when the other one doesn't, and vice versa. But I guess that's kind of life.
Mike and I are just not ready for me to die. Are you ever actually ready? I say that, but I have watched many friends make the decision to go on to hospice, and I know that there will be a day I too will most likely make this decision. Either from lack of options, if I'm just not feeling well enough, having a good quality of life, or options failing me to the point that my body just can't take it anymore. Chemo, etc., fries your organs after a good amount of time. Each time we really have to look at death in the eye at this level, we all get freaked out. My doctor says I sound depressed. I am. This stuff is hard. This roller coaster never slows down. One day at a time. Many, like me, are furiously looking for the next great treatment that will keep them alive, and you have the deep down belly fear that you know some of the women won't be back next year. You never know if you're going to be that one, or if it's going to be one of your dear friends, and we're all tired of watching each other die. Ugh, I hate cancer. How to live hasn't been something I've struggled a lot with. How to find time to do all of that living seemed to be the question. This week was the first time I felt like I truly fell down. I fell and am nursing my hypothetical bruises. The bruise has branched up around my heart where they sit. Dark veins telling me to give up. I don't want to give up, but it murmurs in one tired ear while my fingertips brush it away. My entire life, I have battled with a deep depression. The voice telling me I'm not good enough. I will never be worth anything. Why do I waste my time trying? Mike helps me keep my head up. But weeks like this, where I have no control and I am so weak, I just start to drown. I was diagnosed with breast cancer on the day before my 31st birthday in 2010. My 5-year cancerversary came and went last winter. I was so sick I hardly knew what was going on. When my pessimist comes out to play, this year it kept telling me that I probably wouldn't see another Christmas. This would be my last summer of fun with Fifi, and I was headed out after rounds of bad news and more bad news. It was nice to learn that that little voice in the back of my head is incorrect. I survived the year, but I watched a lot of wonderful women and men die throughout the year. 2016 felt like a big year of metastatic breast cancer deaths. The longer I am in the metastatic community, the more people I know and love will pass away. Someday, I will be the person that is the part of the community that passes away unless we find a serious miracle soon.
The day I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I started to write Darn Good Lemonade, which is my blog. I wasn't super creative on the name because I just found out I had breast cancer. And I figured I should make some darn good lemonade out of the fact that I'd been diagnosed with breast cancer.
Dear 14-year-old Mandy, yes, this note is typed. Computers get even cooler in the future, and you will get out of practice at writing handwritten notes. Buy Microsoft, Google, and Apple stock as soon as they are available. You probably legally can't, so go tell your father to buy it. Life isn't easy or fair. Don't expect it to be. You will work hard for everything in your life, but you will treasure it more because you earned it. Listen to your parents. It may seem like they are out to get you, but really everything they do is because they care about you. It is going to take you another 8 years or so to figure this out. There will be a day that you will need them more than ever. Maybe more than just one day. Treasure them. Along with your brothers, family is important. Don't be in a rush to find Mr. Perfect. Spend time with friends and goof off. He will come along someday, and he will be the best thing ever. You won't be able to imagine your life without him, and he will love you even though you aren't perfect. Even though you like to think you are, you will just know when you meet him. Trust your heart. He will be your rock. He also is better at vacuuming than you. Figure this out early on. Never, ever, ever, ever give up. You will ride the roller coaster of life. There will be highs and there will be lows. Appreciate the lows because they help you understand and savor the highs. Just hang on tight and enjoy the ride. Enjoy every moment. Life is a gift. Love, 32-year-old Mandy.